Hello, everybody, and today we are going to be talking about the Kenworth IRL versus the Kenworth in ATS. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss. Welcome in, everybody, and welcome to the BBG. That's me, Bugle Boy Gaming, and today we're going to compare the Kenworth ATS trucks and the design they put in here and compare them to the actual IRL or in real life KW version of what they put, and you'll be amazed at just how well ATS has done with making their graphics look almost identical. And before we get started, I want to give a real quick shout out to Smacky70 Live on YouTube. He is the most recent winner of the BBG ATS Cannonball Run, and I will put his link down below so you can go and check out his YouTube channel, as well as he has Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and he also streams with me on Twitch. So you'll catch us again on September 10th, I believe, is the date, um, where we will do our next Cannonball Run ATS race. And if you are interested in that as well, I'll also put my link for my Twitch page, and you can also put your information in on the comments, and I'll get back with you with the information you would need to join us for that race. And with that being said, I also want to ask you to do one thing. If you could do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. That helps me move on, as this is only my second video on YouTube. So with that being said, let's get moving. Did I just say that again? Did I really just say that again? I mean, that's just kind of like a wow factor, right? Like, oh, wow, did he really just say that again? With that being said, the hell with it. All right, guys. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is the ATS W900. Now, in IRL, the W900 is actually, there it is right there. It is the T900 in IRL, just so you're aware. That's the only difference, really, in what they did in the naming. You have the T and the W, um, and you can see these actually are two different style trucks. You have the long nose, which is the ATS, and you can see the difference when I say long nose. You can see how long this is compared to the IRL, where it's more sloped and aerodynamic. So that's the only real difference here between the W and the T on the 900s ATS versus the IRL. With that, you also have the tanks on the outside here. These are options, okay? So in ATS, they come with this already on here. Let me see. I don't think. Whoops. Okay, there we go. This is more or less similar to what you're seeing in IRL right now, and I actually have another picture of that here in a minute. And there, right there. Okay. So, ATS has 10 varieties of trucks to choose from in ATS for the Kenworth versus Kenworth itself. Okay, now let's take a step back here. Let me take that off the screen, and we'll put this one up. We did just see this one right there. Okay, there are some similarities in that one as well. Again, these are day cabs. This one here is the T680, and it's actually called the T680 in IRL as well. So keep that in mind. We have now Kenworth has 12 different versions of trucks that you can choose from when you go to buy a KW or a Kenworth, and the most popular right now for over-the-road drivers is the T680, and we will get to that one here in a minute. But we're not going to really discuss anything outside of what OTR, and those of you who don't know what OTR means, it's over-the-road trucks. Okay, we're not going to be talking about dump trucks. We're not going to be talking about box trailers. We're not going to be talking about um, mixer trucks or anything like that. We're strictly talking about the ones that are utilized through ATS, which are every one of those are over the road trucks. To include, and I say over the road, a lot of people misunderstand when I say over the road. They think, oh, well, you're going from cross country. That is not actually true either. Um, just because I say OTR doesn't mean you're only over the road going out of state. I'm a local truck driver, but I'm considered OTR just because of the fact that I'm driving on the road. Okay, um, every truck driver is an OTR driver, believe it or not. And I don't care what you say. I don't care how long you've been driving. Bottom line is, everybody drives on the road. You're an OTR. Okay. Um, but there are drivers that are long distance OTR drivers, over the road drivers, and straight up, all the respect in the world to you guys. I've been there, done that, checked that block, and I'm glad to be sitting at home where I can be safe in my own home. So here we go. So T680, you have the wind blocker up on top of the aerodynamic windshield, whatever you want to call it. Painted mirrors to match, chrome front grille, LED headlights. These vehicles come with, and as you can see here on the, well, I know, I guess oh yeah, you can see it here. Okay, so the ATS version has a 455 horsepower. This one here has a 455 horsepower engine. The torque is 1650. It's got the Eaton gearbox. It's got a 150-gallon tank. Let's see what else it's got. It's got the 6x4 chassis. And I don't know why the stereo says left hand. Oh, left-hand side of the cab. Okay, so that's a little interesting. So in comparison, so let's look at the 680 in the, now you have the T680 with the sleeper, and you have the T680, what is this, the T680E. Okay, these are the ones that are just freaking, these are day cab drivers. These are guys that don't actually sleep in their trucks. These go home. These guys usually go home every night. Let's see. Let me see if I can get some specs on this one real quick so you can understand the difference. Okay, so the picture of the white one, the IRL here, okay, this is the T680E, and it ranges anywhere about 150 miles depending on what you're doing, which seems really awkward. That seems strange. Oh, their wording on that's really weird. KW, you need to fix that, man. Okay, so what they're, okay, when they say this, and this could be where some people get a little confused, because there is this one right here is actually an electric truck, and so you don't have to, and I honestly didn't even know that this was an electric truck until just now. So I'm learning something new as well. It has 8 electric batteries, estimated to last about 97 years. Okay, wow, 97 years. I don't know about that. And if that's true, that's just flat out awesome. So the 150 miles, that's how far they're saying that these batteries, before you have to charge the batteries, that's how far you can go. So if you forget to put fuel in here, so you still got to have diesel in your truck. So when the batteries die and you got to recharge them, you sure as heck don't want to be 150 miles down the road and be sitting on the side of the road, no way to charge your big rig. So keep that in mind, guys. That's interesting. I did not want to click on that. Pack car, and okay, yeah, so you're starting to see, and I was wondering what these were, why we had these at the truck stops. We have these fuel stations. It's very similar to Tesla You know, you're seeing the Tesla with the electric gas. You know, at the gas, some of the gas stations have these little electric places you can go and park and plug your car in and sit there for way too long. Way too long. Um, I don't know. That's I don't know how long you got to sit and wait. I'm assuming this wouldn't be a good idea for somebody that's going over the road. You don't want to go 150 miles and have to stop. But again, it'll transfer over to fuel, diesel. You just flip a switch. Okay. So this truck is equipped with a 536 horsepower to anywhere from 536 horsepower to 670 horsepower on the powertrain. It has 1623 of pounds per torque. See, what did we say over here? What we say was, see, we did the 455 horsepower, so it's about right. This one actually here in the game, the ATS is actually, the engine power is lower than what the engine power is on the IRL, because it's a 536 horsepower with this 455. Okay, so the torque 1650, that is actually, it's a little bit more in game than it is in real life. So yeah, but I mean, not by a whole lot of difference. I mean, you're looking at 1650 versus 1623. So I mean, you're not gonna. There is no noticeable difference at all. Okay, so the fuel tank here, the 150 gallons. I think what ATS did is when they, instead of doing 150, you know, it's a 150 gallon tank instead of a 150 mile round radius of electricity. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. You're not going to go 150 miles. You're going to get a 150 gallon tank. It's a nice tank, by the way. All right. So, honestly, with you guys here, I just really learned something new. I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know Kenworth had an electric truck. So, I have to give them props on that one. That one's styling right there. They got some new style coming with that. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. I don't want to have the shades on and be like, yeah. No, I knew all about this electric truck. Just neglected to tell you. No, I want to be as transparent as possible. I want to take the glasses off and be like, okay, look, I didn't know about this. I literally just learned this as we're recording this. So, it is what it is. All right. So let's move down the road here. Let's move on to the next truck. Get that bad boy off my screen. Okay, so see, this is the T680 mid-roof sleeper. I don't know if I've got a picture of a mid-roof. Let's see what I got. T680 mid-roof. I don't have an image. I mean, I do. This one is the W990. Basically, this is the long nose. You could see here on the IRL how that is it's a long nose versus the sleek. Here, let me move this back. You can see how the design of this is the new aerodynamic T680 style with the mid-roof. It doesn't have, when it says mid-roof, it doesn't go way up here. Okay, so it doesn't have the bunk bed version. So I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. All right, so here's the T680 with the full cab, the full sleeper. Okay, the mid comes about right here, and then the top comes up here. This allows you to have an actual bunk bed, which I might be able to show you here in a little bit. I do have some interior images that I can show you guys here in a little bit, and we'll get to that later. But this is the T680 with the sleeper on it, so let's get back here. So here's the T680. You see the difference, right? You got the lower roof. That's the only difference, body style on this one. Okay, and it does not match the image I'm putting up there. Let's see again. Okay, so that's the W900, which I do have a W900 right here. Okay, this is kind of where we started. and you can tell the difference between the 900 that I'm using in ATS versus the 900 in real life. There is a slight difference, but you can actually buy this version with the long nose at KW. Okay, now remember KW, and just so you guys don't, rewind that. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut that. Maybe I won't. It'll just stay in. The Kenworth has over 1,600 options to choose from. Just so you know, if you decide you're going to go buy yourself an actual big rig and you want to know, oh, how many options do I have? There are over 1,600 options to choose from when it comes to buying a Kenworth. So make sure that when you're ready, if you're a truck driver and you're ready to actually go buy yourself a big rig, and I'm not going to give you my feelings towards owner operations anymore because that'll be for another video. If you're going to go buy yourself a truck, make sure you're ready. Because it's going to take you more than just, it's not like going to a car dealership and going, I like that one because it's blue, and I like that one because it's more comfortable, and I like that one. You're not going to have that option. You're going to go in, they're going to have a few sitting there, you're going to get to test drive here, one or two here or there, and then you're going to sit down, and you're going to go home with a manual, and it's going to be a book, and you're going to have to decide what color you want, what size motor you want. I mean, you could buy one that's right off the lot and just get it stock the way it is. There it is. You're going to drive off with that truck. But if you want a refrigerator, if you want a TV, if the interior stuff, there's a lot of interior stuff that you can buy. If you want an automatic, you want a standard, you want a 10-speed, an 8-speed, a 12-speed, an 18-speed, you need high, low, double frame, triple frame, single frame. You want a 6x4, or I mean, do you want the 10-wheel rig, or do you want the 6-wheel rig? I mean, day cab, sleeper, half sleeper, half cab. I mean, there's so many options. You'll just twist your head into 20 different ways. I mean, you can have the external air filters versus internal air filters. You can have the external exhaust tanks or exhaust pipes versus the under truck exhaust pipes. There's just so many things. I mean, I could sit here and list forever the options that you have when you're going to buy a KW. So, that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what you get to toy around with here in ATS versus what IRL is going to have. Okay. All right. So let's take that one off the screen. We've already talked about this one here. It's the electric one, which is news to me. Here is, okay, so let's go back here. Okay, this is the T680. It's one of the most popular styles you'll see on the road today. You're driving down the freeway and you see this rig everywhere right now. KW struck a home run when they created this beast right here. They swung for the fence and they knocked it way out of the park. The fence wasn't even an option. Okay, my very first rig that I drove 10 years ago was a T2000, and at that time, KW was considered, their T2000 was considered the Cadillac of the roads. You wanted that T2000. I got lucky. The day I went to work for the company I did, somebody decided they didn't want to drive anymore. They freaking packed up their stuff and left. That T2000 went to the shop to get cleaned up, oil changed and everything, and they said, here's your choice. You can have this International, or you can have this Freightliner. And then somebody came in and set keys on the table and said, this one's going to be ready tomorrow, which would be when I was going to be ready to roll. She goes, oh, well, I guess you can check this one out too if you want. I took all three of those keys and I went out and looked at the International and just about passed out. It was so horrible. I looked at the Freightliner. I was like, oh, okay, it's decent. It was 2 years old, and but you got in it, and it was filthy. I mean, they hadn't even cleaned it yet, and I was like, I don't know about this. I went to the T2000, and when I got in it, there was a dude laying down in the back of the bunk. I mean, he was on his cell phone, And I got in, and he's like, "Oh, is this your truck?" I'm like, "Well, I got the keys to it." He's like, "Oh man, my bad. I was checking it out. You know, I saw him drive it over here. I thought, they're getting ready to clean it up. I didn't know it was your truck. Are you leaving?" I said, "No, I'm not leaving. I'm looking at taking this truck." "Oh, my bad, dude, my bad." And he jumps out the truck, and he's like, he's telling his friend on the phone, "Man, I feel bad, man. I was sitting there laying on the bed with this." It was actually kind of funny. Now, the only problem I had with this truck when I got in it was the fact that the person who had it was a smoker, and I'm not a smoker, and so it reeked of cigarette smoke. But the interior of it was immaculate. The exterior was beautiful, and I wanted nothing more than to have that truck. It put the other two to shame, and I'm so glad I did. The next day, they had cleaned it up. They had, vacuumed and cleaned and scrubbed, and they had tried to get as much of the cigarette smoke out as they could. Air freshener is all it took for me, and some Febreze, and we were good to go. And I have, since that day, I have not looked back away. That's why I wanted to make this video first of all the trucks that I'm going to talk about, because I'm going to go through all of them, just so y'all know. I'm going to do the same thing for every truck, because I've been in just about, with the exception of Volvo, I've driven every truck that has been manufactured not every single truck that's been manufactured, but I've driven every brand. Okay, at least one truck of every brand, with the exception, unfortunately, of Volvo, which I'd really want to get into myself. Because in comparison, Volvo, Peterbilt, and KW are your three top trucks. That's why they're so expensive. Everybody else underneath is just a category that we'll talk about in another video. Anyways, so I have actually two pictures of the 680. You have the 680, and then you have the 680. Whoops. Okay. So this is the next generation. Okay, this was the first one to come out, the next gen, right? But then you have this one. Okay, this is the IRL. Believe it or not, and look at this. This is what I thought was amazing. The T680, and when you go into ATS and you open up the T680, this is the one you get. And then when you come over here and you look at this one right here, this is what's on their webpage. I sat there going, "Wow, is that just coincidence, or did ATS purposely do that, where they said, hey, let's make sure?" Because the white one was the same way. If you notice, the electric one was white on here, white there. Pretty freaking cool as far as I'm concerned, right? So aerodynamic, Cadillac of the road. You got the matching color match skirts with the chrome around the doorknobs and the windows. You got the flush over windshield lights, your cab lights above your cab, the above the cab lights, your chrome grill. This is a KW when it comes down the road. You can tell a KW because of that big old beautiful chrome with, and you can see right here the KW logo right here. The KW logo right there on and it's on the front of every single KW truck. Okay, you guys see on my screen that way. over here, you see on my screen, you see where it says Kenworth. Okay, if you're not a truck driver, you're just going to call it Kenworth. But those of us that have been driving for a while, you don't even have to drive for a while. You could be new to it, but you'll find out real quick that we don't refer to it as a Kenworth. We call it a KW. Okay. So this right here, this is your luxury truck. This is the one you want. This is the one you want to get in. If you're going to go over the road and you're going to sleep in your truck, this is going to be your home. This is your house. Okay. These trucks are not cheap. I'm not going to start quoting prices because I don't want to give you the wrong idea. But what I can tell you is these trucks are not cheap. You're going to spend a pretty penny if you want to buy this truck. And let's just say a base model for this, you could probably get a small house for. So just keep that in mind if you're really interested in buying a big rig. All right, so here we have is a W900. Let me pull that up here. All right. So IRL W900L versus the W900. Okay, the old school style with the very long nose. You got the very squared off KW chrome at the front. KW is also known for their chrome. They really are. They're just amazing look. The difference here, you can see there's a lot of chrome on the IRL, but the design style, I mean, they captured everything. They captured everything from the tanks with the filter on top, the external exhaust with the covers on it, and on the side where it says Kenworth right here, it actually does say that in real life as well. And then you got all the chrome and all the extra lights. This one here is just for it's the same idea as the full sleeper. Okay, so you have a bunk bed in this one. Now the difference between why this sleeper KW versus the T680 which is that one there, you see they both have a sleeper on it. Sleeper, 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 sleeper. Okay. Okay. They both do the same thing. Okay. So they both have a sleeper. They both have a bunk bed. The person up top can pop this window up a little bit, or some of them slide, but some of them pop. But they can actually let air in from up here while they're sleeping. And then you'll notice also you also have the like skylight windows up top versus the T680 does not. Okay, so you don't have the sunroof per se. Okay, so that makes it a little bit more unique. It's an old school style. These are what the original trucks at KW looked like when they, long time ago. And the space on the interior, and this is the only part I didn't like, because I'm a big dude. And when I first started driving, I was 360 pounds. And I'm down to 260 right now, so I'm 100 pounds lighter than I was when I first started driving. But squeezing between the driver's seat and passenger seat, especially when you were team driving, your butt or other parts would rub on the shoulder of the person driving if you're trying to get back. It's unless it's your wife, or if you're a girl and it's your husband, you don't mind that. It's fine. But if if you're your buddy, you don't want to rub your butt on their shoulder or other items on their shoulders. You're trying to get back to the spacing between the seat is really narrow. So I've never liked it. Just on that alone drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it. And other trucking companies do the same thing. It's just a style. So a lot of people just like this truck because of the style and because of the look. In the sense of, does it drive or handle any better? The turn radius of these trucks are a lot longer. It takes more to turn this truck in a radius than it does the T680. T680 has a shorter nose and a better turn radius, so you can turn sharp. Versus this one, you've got to make some real wide turns. So you got to make sure that you know what you're doing when you make that turn. All right. Okay, here we are again with the T680. This is another T680 at ATS that's got the mid roof. Okay, it's still a sleeper, but it only has a bed down here, and it doesn't have the higher bunk on it. Okay, here's another W900, but this one is the studio sleeper. Okay, now you notice that when I showed you this one, it had the mid roof. Well, this is also a mid roof here, but this older version here, they call it a studio. This sleeper is actually a little bit deeper, and the interior is a little more designed. It's a little more comfortable. And it's really meant for like a husband and wife, not necessarily a team or just a single solo driver that doesn't care to have the extra bunk. It's a style thing. It's going to save you, I don't know, a couple grand, in the sense of having that bunk bed up here and all the extra, the height and stuff. That's the only real difference. Let me pull that up. There we go. So there's this one is actually called the 990. I don't know, is there a 990? I don't think they have a 990 on here. No. Okay, so the 990 is the studio version. It's a little bit. It's a different. Okay, so the 990 versus the W900 in here, the studio, they have all these in KW. This is an option. This right here. I remember I talked about that 1600 choices and options that you have. Here's another option. You can see here in the IRL, the one that I've got on, the orange pumpkin looking one here, that is a whole different design, whole different style. I only brought this up because I want you to be able to see that there is a difference. IRL versus the ATS, all these trucks on ATS are actually available. The style and design and it's all there. It's 1,600 options. I'm not going to show you 1,600 pictures of different options, but I want you to be able to see the difference between these two trucks. Okay, so again, it is a similar style, just a little more boxy in the IRL versus the old school style with the long nose versus a stub nose. But what they did with the 990 is they combined the two. They gave you a little bit of the new aerodynamics in the sense of how the roof rolls, but they still gave you the old school kind of long nose, so you got the long wheelbase and the wider turns you got to take, but they gave you bigger windows and they took away the sunroof. So, and then instead of having the external tanks, you have internal air tanks. Your fuel tank is going to be bigger in the game, but it again is an option versus having the smaller tank or having dual tanks. Okay, that's the other thing to think about too. Is some of these trucks you can get a single tank. Like my truck that I drive in real life is a single tank truck. It is a 300-gallon single tank truck. Okay, tank, yeah, single gallon, 300-gallon. I'm really messing this up. I mean, it's like whatever. Okay, it's like, wow, dude, are you really gonna do that? Yeah. Okay. It is a single tank 300-gallon. Okay, and that's what's on my day cab, and I'm actually driving a freight shaker, not a KW. The company I work for bought a bunch of freight shakers, freight liners. So those of you who don't know. Okay. Let's get the pumpkin off of here. All right, this is just an upgraded version. Okay, when you're going through here, all this really is an upgraded version. It's just it's one less step to do. They added some different style. That's all ATS did here. Okay, so pretty much that's all there really is in comparison. Now, what I'm going to show you on the screen, I'm going to show you what the interior, the IRL interior of these trucks look like. And let me get this one. We'll customize this. Let's go with the interior. All right, so here is the automatic. This is not even showing you the standard. All of ATS interiors show it as being an automatic. Regardless what you drive it as, they're going to show you it as an automatic, okay? You can see the padding on the inside. This is an option. You can see the wood grain style. That is an option. Again, remember I said there are just options and options and options, okay? What they did do here, which is really cool, is they actually have this table, and I'll show you the IRL picture here in a minute. This table actually slides out, rotates out to make it wider, and this chair here will actually spin around and face backwards. So you can sit in this chair. Whoops. You can sit in this chair and actually sit like a dining table kind of, or you can have one person sitting on the bed and one person sitting here, play some cards or whatever. Okay. And you'll also see the TV. You'll see a microwave. When I said bunk bed, that right up here, this big item up here folds down, and and this becomes another bed. There's a bunk bed up here, and what they're not showing here is right about here. It comes out, or it goes in a little bit and gives you a little foothold, and then there's another where you pull, a foothold that'll be right about here on the cabinet, and then you just pull yourself up. And then behind the driver's seat, which we can't see here, here's the driver's seat right here behind me. There's another set of cabinets, which I'll show you in the IRL. but it's got the footholds as well to get up here. One thing you're not going to see in the IRL, because they took it off for picture purposes, and the IRL pictures, they're animated IRL. They're not actual pictures of the big rig. It's what their artwork was of what it looks like, but it is spot on. Okay, so you see this curtain right here. This is your sleeper curtain, and it's got a track that runs along the top of the roof, and you unvelcro it here and you pull this out, and it comes to about the midway point of your floor. And then there's one behind the driver's seat, and you do the same thing, and then it just velcros together, and it covers, and it keeps this area back here separated from the front of your cab. There's also, and what they don't show here, there's another curtain that's hanging down here on both sides, and that curtain actually runs along a rail along the top here to your midway point here, and then it does the same thing here on the driver's side. And there'll be a rail right along up here, and it pull it around, and then it'll meet with the other one right in the middle, and this will be completely covered. So your windows are now covered, and you are now in the privacy of your own cab. Nobody can see in. They would have to literally open your door, because the curtain will hang down way past here, okay? So they won't be able to see in, and then you just push the rest of the curtain down here up on the dash, and they can't see in. So you can literally stand if you wanted to, for whatever reason. If you wanted to stand butt naked right here in your cab, you could. Nobody's going to see you. All right. So again, these are options. So let me pull up the picture here. Let's see. Oh, let's look at the dash real quick. I'm going to show you guys the dash. So here is the ATS dash, and here is the IRL. All right. So in real life dash versus ATS. Okay. So ATS has the original gauges, like what I see every single day, the actual gauges I see, versus the brand new real life digital gauges. Okay, you want to talk about a huge difference. I mean, those digital gauges are freaking awesome. They're confusing, but they're also awesome. They're really cool. You can see the steering wheel is very similar. And let me go back to ATS. You can see the steering wheel here, where you get all the thumb buttons here, all the buttons you use your thumbs for to change everything. In real life, there's actually a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more to deal with in real life. So ATS did a pretty good job, though, for real. Okay, and then you also have your window controls and mirror controls and mirror locks. Okay, real life, you can see the same place, same idea, same style. Great job. Freaking great job. Attention to detail. You can look in the dash as well. You can see the cubbies being the same. You can see the screen to the right of the steering wheel. Apparently it's not even moving. So I'm pointing at it on my screen, but it's not showing you on the picture, so my little marker is not showing up. But anyway, so all your gauges on the right hand side of the steering wheel, the selector switches and everything, which let me flip this back here. And this is what I was talking about. So you have your digital screen here, which is a touch screen. You have your pockets here to store stuff in, your cup holders, your air brakes, your trailer and your tractor air brake out here, then all your switches here for all your different lights, and different switching your axles if you need to lock your axles in so you get more power, and if you get stuck, and all your gauges stuff too. So they really paid a lot of attention to detail when they put this all together, and just phenomenal job. You can actually see on the left and right hand side of the screen, more of the right by the KW logo. You can see the padding, how the padding on the door, you can, that's an option as well. Versus here, same idea. See how it, right behind my head here. You see how it's got the rivets and the padding. Same with back here on the back wall. Okay, that's all an option. You can get it plain Jane, like right here in the middle where it's just plastic, or you can get this nice leather setup here. These are speakers. There's a speaker here. There's normally a speaker here. Let me tell you what, KW, I used to bump going down the road. I kid you not. I mean, I used to bump going down the road. I couldn't even get it halfway. It was loud and it thumped. You would think I had like amplifier. It does have an amplifier, but you'd think I did like my own personal amplifier. Dude, I pull up a stoplight and people would be looking at me like, dude, man, what is with that? I was like, dude, that's stock. That is straight up stock. Okay, something you'll see here on my window and ATS. I've got this Kenworth sticker. That is not in real IRL. Okay, you will not see that IRL. This is actually illegal because it blocks your view. I did it here in the game just because I like it. I think it's really neat looking, and I don't, it's a game. If I hit something, I'm not going to prison, and I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to lose my license in the game. In real life, you put that on your window and you get an accident and you couldn't see because those stupid stickers are in the way, you're SOL. All right, so let me show you what the bunk looks like. Here is the bunk. This is the rear view. This is where the view of this is from where the bunk bed would lay down. So if you're sitting up top or you're actually standing on the lower section. Right above me, right up here, you can see a microwave. That is an option. Not all trucks come with it. If you look to that side, actually right where my finger is, right there, that is the shifter for automatic. Okay, this little thing right here, boop, boop, boop. That is a selector switch for an automatic truck. That is not where the gear shifter, if it's not, would be sticking up down here somewhere. Actually, a little bit closer to the driver. Right about here. You see this long stick coming out of the ground. Okay. The controls that you're seeing right here. See all those controls? I'm about to lose my finger. Those are your air conditioning controls, your radio controls, your light controls for everything. So everything that you see on the dash right here are now over there. So when you're in the sleeper and you got the curtains closed off and you're just in the sleeper, you can control the heat, you can control the air conditioning, you can control the music, you control your interior lights if you want them brighter, you want them lighter, you want them darker. It'll control your radio stations, your CD players. I mean, that little control box right there controls a lot of stuff. So you don't have to actually get up and walk to, open the curtains and go, oh my God, it's hot as hell in here. You can actually control it from right there, which, as a truck driver, you really want that. You don't have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning because it's too damn hot in your truck, and have to go and rip open that Velcro and start changing knobs and then sit there and wait and see, okay, well, now it's too cold now and adjust it. You can actually just roll over, push the buttons up there on there, and bam, you're done. Digital buttons or knobs or whatever options you ended up having. Okay, so that's a bunk. Let me show you another version of the bunks in here. All right, here's a side view of the bunk. Now, this is where I was talking about. Let me turn this one off real quick. Now, remember I was talking about the seat here that turns around and this table that slides out? Well, there you have it right there. You see where the chair turns around? And you see where that table right there is popped out. So now somebody could sit right here where my finger is. Another person can sit over there, and you guys can play cards together. Again, this table is an option. Some of them come fixed where they're just like this all the time, where they don't slide closed. Some of them will actually slide in instead of wrapping around. They'll actually push in and then slide back out. So again, it's an option. The TV is an option. You don't get a TV when you buy the truck unless it's already installed, and that's already something that it's in there. You have to buy that. It's an option. Okay. You have the drawers underneath. Let me turn this off. So you can see down here the drawers underneath. So we put this back on. You can see the drawers underneath, right where the smoke is coming up. Okay. Boom, there's drawers underneath. Now, again, here's an option. I'm going to show you this in a minute. It's a refrigerator. There's there's different versions of a refrigerator, so you can get a refrigerator in here if you wanted it. So you can actually open the drawers, or you can have a refrigerator. There's a drawer refrigerator and there's a regular door refrigerator. So let me show you what that is. Now again, that microwave is also an option. Okay. Refrigerator. Boom. Okay, so here is a refrigerator. This is a pull-out sliding door. Okay, it's got 2 shelves on it. This by far is probably my favorite. You can, and the option of this is you can have it behind the driver, which is where this picture shows it, or you can have it underneath where the TV is. I preferred it on this side with the TV because if I'm sitting in traffic and I need a drink, I can pop my brakes real quick. I don't even have to get up. I can just reach back behind me, pull open that drawer, grab a water or soda out, slide the door closed, and I mean that's how close it is to the driver. So having it on your right-hand side where you can just reach over and pull that drawer open, grab yourself a drink or an apple, or if you have your sandwich just sitting there, grab your sandwich, slide the door closed, and then, release your brakes and you're back ready to rock and roll. Now again, you heard me say if you're sitting in traffic, okay, and you're just not moving, there's been an accident, you're just sitting there, you pop your brakes so you don't take your foot off the brake like a moron and roll forward. You set your brakes, you pop your air brakes so you're not going to move, make sure you're in neutral, then you reach back, open it up, slide it open, grab yourself a drink or whatever, slide it closed, bam, you're back in gear. There are, there are options for this. Some of the options are strictly cosmetic, okay? Do you want it to match the color of the interior? Do you want it to look like a wooden door? Do you want it to slide open, or do you want it to open like a regular refrigerator? Do you want it on the left side or the right side? Do you want, so there are options for that as well. Again, it's an option. Not all the trucks come with a refrigerator. Matter of fact, anything that is a standard KW, International, Freightliner, whatever, they don't come with these in there. These are options. So, when you see something like this, it's an option. Every one of them come with a bed. They all come with the 2 front seats. Believe it or not, that passenger seat right here that turns around, that's an option. Not all of them come with that seat that will flip around and face backwards. That is an option, okay? So, it's nice to have here in ATS, having all these options available to you, But that's all it really is. It's just an option, okay? All right, guys. So pretty much that's what you have. You have your dash. You have your interior designs, refrigerators. So, I was hoping to be kind of like the cool guy and be like, "Yeah, man, you got all the cool stuff. Yeah, you're gonna get it all when you first buy a truck. It all comes." No, it doesn't work that way. But if you found this to be cool, maybe I wowed you, or maybe you just went, "Damn, that was awesome." Hopefully you enjoy, because I'd rather it be. I like it to be cool. I like it to be wow. I like it to be awesome, but I really want it to be totally freaking awesome. You know what I mean? I really do. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. That's going to do it for me. I'm BBG. You can find me on Bugle Boy Gaming on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But do me a favor, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, and we will see you guys the next time. And I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe another week? Yeah, we'll shoot for that. By next week, I should have another video out. All right, guys. Peace, love, prosperity. Everybody have a good day. Be safe out there. Don't do anything I would do, because that's just crazy. All right. Peace.